Good day. First of all, I want to apologize in advance for my lispy voice. I've had a bit of a throat infection and that's prevented me from recording, and it's prevented me from doing a lot of things, but I figured that it was time for me to upload a new video, so here we go again. Apologies for my slightly lispy voice. No laughing. No laughing. Right, okay. What we're going to look at today is another future preset, another preset used by Metro Boomin, and another preset and artist that's been done together before, as has been many times. This one is a little bit more complicated because the stock preset has actually been tweaked a little bit. So I thought this would be a little different to what I usually show you. I actually, on a side note, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Dave Pensado, but Dave Pensado is a world famous, award-winning mix engineer, and he has a TV show called The Pensado Place. I urge you to look that up. It's an amazing show. It's once a week, and he gets all sorts of guests on that show. From a hip-hop perspective, he's had DJ Mustard, he's had Tyrese. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because his most recent episode, he has a guest sound designer on there, and the sound designer takes the audience through some basic sound synthesis controls, and he happens to use the Massive synthesizer as well, which is the one I'm going to show you today. So I suggest you check that out. I will put a link on screen now for you to link to that video and, you know, watch it, absorb it, and hopefully you'll learn something to help improve your production skills and maybe get into a bit more sound synthesis and sound design. Okay, so get into the preset. What you want to do is obviously open Massive. Then there is a stock preset called Outro. I've got it under recent files, but I'll skim through it again anyway. Just go down here. Cool. Okay, so by default it sounds like this. You'll notice in the Wesley Presley song that's by Future, this sound is played throughout the whole beat. It's most obvious in the intro because there are no drums. But yeah, playing that again. I couldn't replicate it exactly, but I definitely got it a little bit closer to what the sound sounded like at the end. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take off the reverb. So let's take the reverb off. Okay. And what I would suggest doing is that whenever you use any presets, if there's sounds that you don't like, just flick through the oscillators, switching them on and off, and see if it's actually one of the oscillators you don't like the sound of that you can just switch off and get rid of, rather than, you know, reaching to EQ or compression or any other techniques that you might use to try and remove certain frequencies. So, for example, if I take this off, you got that. But the main sound comes from oscillator 2. I couldn't decide whether or not he included oscillator 3 in that as well. So for the purposes of this, we'll just keep oscillator 3 included. Okay, next I turn off the EQ. Turn the EQ off. The EQ was removing a lot of the high frequencies that you hear in the final sound, so I took those off. I also increased the filter cutoff a little bit just to bring through some more of those high frequencies. Once that was that high, so just back it off a bit. So around there sounds perfect. And then in the final mix of the song, it sounds like there's some distortion. Now, the distortion could have been done by Metro Boomin using Massive. There are a number of different effects you can use. Alternatively, it could have been the mix engineer that used an external plugin to add some distortion to the sound. Who knows what that was? I couldn't give you the answer. But for the purposes of this, you could reuse the FX1 slot where we've taken off the reverb, just add a tube, so a classic tube. That's obviously too much, so we'll just bring that down. So before and after. probably still a little bit too much, but you get the idea. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I got with it. It's quite obvious that this is the preset that was used. As I mentioned previously, be sure to check out the Dave Pensado channel and to check out the video on modulation, because, you know, if you don't know anything about modulation, you wouldn't have been able to get to this point where you're very close to the original sound that was used. And this is just trial and error, just switching things on, switching things off, you know, and just experimenting. That's the key to everything. Again, apologies for my lisp. I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to check back in future for more videos on my channel. Peace.